Hey, what's up? Big Think AI and World Labs are having a collaboration on March 28th. Just for some context, I'm a leader at Big Think AI, so really excited. I've been following World Labs for a while now. So this is a really big deal. But the reason it's an even more big deal, that's not proper English. The reason it's a bigger deal, that seems is because I want this hackathon to be the best hackathon that's involved world models or world labs. And the way I plan to do that is I've been following the previous hackathons that World Labs has been a part of. I've been looking at the best projects from them, like the ones that have won, and I want to make that the baseline of ours through backtracking and providing lessons to all participants on how to get to the frontier. So when you get to hackathon, it's not a matter of repeating what's been done. It's more so like, okay, you already understand everything that's been done. You know how to get to that winner product from like two hackathons ago. So now it's like, okay, if I can do all of that, what's the really new thing that no one has done before? Um, and to be honest, it hasn't been hard. That's like the bulk of my day was dedicated to creating lessons. The ones I did today was just like how to load Gaussian splats and how to create like a multi-world system and all of that. But the thing I noticed was that a lot of the projects I've been winning haven't been the most technically infeasible for most people, but rather it's been we found a nice problem. We found a nice problem. We found a nice solution. So it's not like oh it's some like crazy like quantum thing. It's just like oh this is a really cool way to like help people with this. Um, so I think that may be the plot twist in terms of like oh it's not like oh this is some crazy thing they built, but it's more so how you frame people's thinking. So even then like I do think the lessons can help. But I think what's even more interesting for me is that I've been playing around with the tool more, even more so than I usually do. I've gone to see the limitations. I don't want to say it was disappointing because like when you see limitations, it does suck. But I think it was more so mind opening in terms of actually understanding the technology and where how it's probably going to evolve. Because it's one thing to see a tech demo, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. But it's another thing to like fully like play and break a toy and you have a better understanding of, okay, here's what's probably going to change in the next iteration. Here's like probably what people are going to like about this and all that. I think that's really fun. I think even now, like when I was playing around with making the walls in marble, you can design them, you can like paint and all that. The eraser tool sucks. Right, so like that's one thing, like a small detail, small tool, small fraction of the larger piece. But like that's something like if you were to fix, that could change a 2 hour workflow from like a 2 hour workflow to a 25-minute workflow. And if that's the case, then now more people can build more things, more 3D representations. And what does that mean for media? What does that mean for World Labs? What does that mean for all things of the sorts? And I think that's the way I like to think. I like when I'm able to immerse myself into stuff like that because it's like and something I noticed like 6 months ago where I was like, oh, I was looking at all these AI new stuff. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I'll form my opinions, but those opinions were like very baseless. 'Cause I actually never knew like the actual underneath of the technology. Um, but yeah, I know. I think it's exciting. I think there's still ways to go. I think with world models, something that's nice for me as someone who's in building in space is it's very much in the infancy stage. It's not anywhere close to maturing as a technology. Like it's like think large language models. I would argue way, way, way farther back, right? Way, way farther back. And if that's the case, there's so much opportunity, right? It's like a lot of work, but a lot of opportunity to be found. Um, and it's like even like when I was thinking about this, like imagine in maybe 6 months now, you could have 3D media be like an actual thing you send to friends. So like you know how you send like images, GIFs, videos, stuff like that. Imagine sending like a 3D representation, like, oh, what do you use that for? So I remember today my mom said, hey, put the tarp on the car and all that. So I was like, okay, send a video or send a picture when you're done. And like, that's cool. I can do that. But I'm playing around with this tool. Let me try how it works because it creates 3D representations. 3 and 2 World Labs didn't do the best job. It was kind of a messy job there. But imagine that being the case. That could be an easier way instead of watching like a 30-second video or looking through a bunch of pictures. You can just like go on your phone and like look around like the car. Like, okay, this works. So it's possible, right? It's possible. It's more so, but I think the I imagine it's not a major architecture shift they have to go about. I imagine it's just like training or how they treat the data or something. I don't doubt I don't think it's going to be a big problem for them to solve, and that's why I said 6 months. I think 6 months is actually being too critical. I think within 3 months, especially after their fundraising round, they could really lock in and solve that. But the point is that it's exciting after seeing these limitations. I think it's even more exciting to see what's possible and what I could even do with my own research because my research is also involving Gaussians, slightly different. because it's less of a static scene and more so meant to be an interactive system. It's meant to be Gaussians plus meshes, and you plug that into like a native world model game engine and all of that. But I think that being the case, it's like, okay, what are the possibilities for something like this? Um, I do think it's an awesome time. I think it's an awesome time. I think I really do this hackathon. Do this hackathon. I do hope to get both the participants and the broader community at UMD more invested in this technology. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a cool tidbit to go about today. I think the lessons were pretty nice. I think people should be able to operate at the frontier much faster than they would just doing it at the hackathon with no lessons. Um, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I know I say that a lot. I think it's just a very true statement. I get excited about a lot of things. Like sometimes when it's like lying down on my phone, I see a cool animation or like something 3D or something, just anything. I'm like, dang. Now imagine if like a native world model game engine could do that, but generalized to like a bunch of different experiences. You could have something like a domain expansion. You could have stuff like infinite variations for training robots. You could have anything of the sorts. Really, I think it's a nice way to live life. Just to be someone who's passionate, like follow God and just be passionate about like things in life. But yeah, besides that, I have nothing else to say. Besides, have a great day.